Welcome back to the Girl Cave. I did it. I worked my way through the entire sketchbook. These are sketches for 6x6 paper pads, and there are 20 sketches in here. This is by Allison from Scrapbook Generations, and it was wonderful to work through them. 20 sketches, many more ideas and sketch variations included if you had signed up for her class, which was a class that was not a class but ended up being a class. She gave you not just the 20 sketches that come with the sketchbook, but 13, 15, 17 different variations for each of those sketches. This is how thick this ended up being. I already showed you the first 10 sketches, the first layouts that I completed from sketches 1 through 10. And I'm going to share with you now the sketches that I completed, starting with sketch number 10 again, all the way through sketch number 20. This was sketch number 10, and I just love how clean it is. Now, it was supposed to be a double page, but you know, I didn't need it to be a double page, so I just adjusted it and made a single page layout out of it. Super easy, just clean lines. It just, I feel like it showcases the pictures very well. So that's sketch number 10. Then we have sketch number 11. I completed sketch number 11 pretty much exactly as the sketch is. I think it is exactly as the sketch. And it's a double page layout, and it has 7 pictures, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, 7 pictures. So I did it exactly as the layout calls, and I even used 6x6 papers, which normally I was using my scraps, or I would use a 12x12 sheet of paper and then cut it. But this one I actually used 6x6 papers that I had, and I love the layout, love the layout. Okay, so that's sketch number 11. Then sketch number 12. Sketch number 12 was a doozy. I mean, ooh la la. So you have the pictures are straight, but your papers are at an angle. And if you are going to complete this sketch, learn from my mistake and the mistake of many others. Do not use paper that has stripes, because it's just going to, it's going to be very difficult on your eyes. And use papers that are very small print, muted colors, so that your pictures really stand out, because it's a very graphic design and your papers are competing. So if you're going to attempt this layout, don't use any striped papers. Use papers that have small scale print, and maybe very tone on tone would work best for this. But I'm still happy with it. I'm never gonna make this layout again, ever. ever, ever, ever. Okay, so that was sketch number 12. Sketch number 13 was another sketch that I truly enjoyed the process. So you have strips of paper, and for this I used some authentic papers, and they were double-sided, so I used both sides. So I used 4 sheets of paper, one for the background, this is a print, and then this was another paper. I believe this is the back side of this one, or maybe the black one. But if you have double-sided paper, this is a great layout to use. These were 12x12. I did not use 6x6 papers for this, and I love it. I love the way it turned out. You have a large title here, and then in her original layout she has 2 smaller pictures over here and a small picture over here, but I used that area for my embellishment clusters, and I think it worked out better for me. I didn't have small pictures of this. Okay, so that was sketch number 13, and then I love this sketch so much that I did another layout using sketch number 13, but I only used one side of the sketch for this. And this sketch was just a lot of fun for me to complete both the story and the paper. I had one sheet of paper which was double-sided, and I cut it into strips, and this was a 12 by 12 paper, so I cut a 6 by 12 inch of that paper, and the other half I'm going to use for another layout that has to do with canning and homekeeping. So I used both sides of the paper, and then I used some authentic journaling cards, and I fussy cut the images. And since authentic is very like old school, like these images were very old school, very 50s, I thought, what more can go with old school than old creative memories, stickers, and die cuts? And it worked out really well. I love it. It's fun. It's a story of me doing spring cleaning and in the process ripping the curtains from my dining room, which, you know, it happens, but I love it. Then I matte the entire layout on another piece of cardstock, and these are pieces of cardstock that I keep. It's not double-sided, that I'm not really loving the pattern itself. I wouldn't use the paper as a background paper, but when I show just a little bit of the edge, it's beautiful. So I use them to matte my layouts. I have several of those like that. For sketch number 14, Allison has a lot of hexagons, like punched out a lot of hexagons. This entire page is full in the original layout of hexagons. I punched out a whole bunch of them, but you know, there's so much going on that I didn't need the entire thing. These pictures are very bright. The color of this car is called Solar Beam Yellow. So I needed something to fade into the background a little bit. But it works really well. I love it. It has a lot of movement. I have it coming over here, and I have some on this side. It just turned out really fun. And I love doing this page for my son about his car. He has some gears, and I did some inking of the gears to make them look kind of rusted. Then we move on to the next sketch, and sketch number 15 is one of those sketches where she has a lot of large shapes is the main page. So she has a lot of these triangles. She has them set, you know, going down, but I didn't want the entire page full of those triangles, so I just used some photo mats that I had and a little bit of paper, and I cut the triangles, and I wanted the background of the paper itself to still show through because it had a lot of the like passport stamps, and I think it worked out really well for the idea that I had in mind. I combined the element of the large triangles from her sketch, and I still managed to keep the theme of the paper showing. That is sketch number 15. For sketch number 16, I went with the double-sided layout, and she has it where this would be the left side and that would be the right side. And sometimes I have difficulty when the title is on the right side. I don't know why. Probably because we read from the left to the right. For sketch number 17, I chose to do a single layout. I used the right side of the sketch. You know, I did use some scraps instead of the 6x6 paper pads, and I used a piece of ledger paper, and then I matte the entire thing on another background. But again, a great use of scraps. You don't need to have 6x6 paper pads. Go through your scraps and pick something. So when you see a sketch that uses 6x6 paper pads, that is a wonderful sketch to dig through your scraps and make use of them. So that is sketch number 17. For sketch number 18, I followed the sketch just as it is. Well, no, kinda. Like this is supposed to be 2 pictures, or 1 picture and then the journaling spot. But I didn't have more pictures, so I used that big journaling card that has the map of Spain and cut all my little banners. Again, these were scraps. I did not cut into any 6x6 paper pads. I just went through my scraps and used them. I like that it has a little bit of separation. The pictures can really stand out here. Very nice. Very easy to make this layout as well. Okay, so that's sketch number 18. For sketch number 19, I pretty much followed the sketch as is as well, except that instead of using separate pieces right here, I just use striped paper. I'm not going to cut all of these little banners. I don't have time for that. But if you already have several strips of paper, then you can use that as well. I just thought, you know what, striped paper seems to be a lot easier and I get the same look. And that was sketch number 19. And then sketch number 20, one of my favorites. And the last sketch of that book. It has a lot of circles, and rather than cutting the circles from pattern paper or from a 6x6 paper pad, what I did instead was I had paper that had circles as the pattern, and I just cut the circles out and then inked the edges, and I love the way it looks. That's it. I actually managed to work my way through the 20 sketches of this sketchbook, and that was one of my goals, was to get it done before the end of the year. Reach another goal. So my next goal at the beginning of this year, I had set a goal of making 52 layouts, but because of the pandemic, I reached that goal pretty quickly. So now I'm trying to work my way to have 100 layouts for this year, and I'm close. Another goal that I have set for myself, which I did not have at the beginning of the year, but I'm so close to it right now that I'm really trying to push, is to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you would please like this video and leave a comment, that helps with the algorithm that YouTube uses, and what it does is it sees that people are watching the video and liking the video and commenting on the video, so they then promote it and share it on other people's feeds, and more people get to see my video. And if more people get to see my video and they like it, hopefully they will subscribe. So please like this video, leave a comment below, and if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you be part of my community. I'm working on new content for next year, and I'd love it if you came along for the ride. Come back again next week, because I'm not done scrapping. I gotta reach that 100 layout mark. Bye.